talking, you know, hanging out with church folks. They decide to go to a comedy show. It's a group event. A bunch of folks from church say, hey, we got comedy show tickets. You should come. So she tells husband, I'm going to go to the comedy show with my church folks. He says, okay, fine. While they're at the comedy show, they're flirting. They kind of dip off and have private conversations. They got alone time. And now they begin contact and a relationship outside of that. So during the week, for weeks, they're like texting, talking on the phone. They would meet up during lunchtime hours. Well, one day she meets up with him to go bowling. They go bowling. His house is right near the bowling alley area. He says, you know, you want to just come back, you know, just kind of chill and hang out. Goes home with the detective and they end up having sex. And she said, baby, it was better than she could imagine. She was hooked. So she can't tell her husband that she's going to Keisha's house because clearly that didn't work last time. So now for the next couple of months and stuff, they meet up during the day. They meet up once or twice a week. They'll meet up at hotels during the work day. They would go and just have this affair going on. But, you know, history likes to repeat itself, y'all. Once again, Counselor K is asleep. She's asleep at home thinking everything is fine. And her husband wakes her up, y'all. Husband wakes her up in the middle of the night again because he done gone through her phone and seen all the text messages. All the text messages between her and detective and all the meeting up that they were doing, everything that was happening. Once again, Kay is caught. She says, okay, I need to try, you know, I don't know what's wrong with me. We're gonna try to make this work. So she cuts it off for a little while. She tries to make it work. They go to counseling. She said that still wasn't working, so she decided to move out. For about 3 years, they're off and on, her and her husband. And during this time that she moved out, you know, she's on an off time, so she resumes seeing detective. But during this whole back and forth with detective and husband, detective gets a girlfriend, and he ends up marrying the girlfriend. This upsets Kay, and she is just like, how could you? But I mean, sis, it's not even a real relationship. But he gets married and moves on. She again tries to make her marriage work. It doesn't work. She does file for paperwork to get divorced. And I think to this day, they're just in the final stages of finalizing said divorce. Okay. Whew. All right, y'all. That was last week's entanglement. Questions, anybody? Are y'all out here at church finding entanglements? Y'all out here at church finding entanglements? Not the repass. Sis got reconnected at the repass, y'all. Oh, oh, you know, well, all right. Are y'all ready for tonight's entanglement? Now, usually, y'all, I usually don't hear the entanglement stories before they come, so we're learning about this together. But I'll be honest, I got the bits and pieces of this entanglement story. I'm actually looking forward to this. It's gonna be a good. This is a fun story. All right, if y'all are ready for tonight's entanglement, let me see drinking snack emojis in the comments. Drinking, oh, boba tea. Is that new? Boba tea? Ah. All right, let me get my marker. Hold on, let me get my marker together. No? Damn, I haven't been paying attention. All right, y'all, please welcome tonight's entanglements. Fresh off of work, y'all. She got off of work and she's here.
Hi, everybody.
Fight for it. Hey, there she is.
Woo, here we go.
And y'all, please welcome Miss Ashley Ann to Entanglements. Can we get some hand claps? Can we get hand claps? Can we put some hand claps in here to make her welcome, feel comfortable? Okay. Y'all make sure y'all hit her with the fave. Or do y'all want to wait for the story before y'all hit her with the fave? Y'all want to wait for the story before you hit her with the fave?
It's more embarrassing for them than me, that's for sure.
Story first, fave later. Okay, at least we're honest. All right. Okay. All right.
No, not
all right, Ashley, you know, we talked about this. This is a featured show, so try not to curse. But you know,
I'll do my best.
If it slips, it's fine. You know, we're not. It's nothing bad's gonna happen. We're gonna take it low and slow. I'll ask questions. Lastly, turn the comments off, please. It'll be very distracting.
Okay.
So just touch the screen, turn them
No,
off.
I'm scared.
You turn them off, and then you can jump back in when we're done with the story, else you won't get through this.
I'm nervous about that part, that's for sure.
Okay, so we always find out who are the players in this story. So there's you, and then who are the other people? We names.
So we are gonna call him Premature Paul.
Premature Paul. Well, we all know where this is going now.
So we're gonna call him. And then there is one other player. We're gonna call her Margaret.
Margaret. Not the Margaret in the comments, not Margie.
No.
Not the Margaret here. Okay.
No. Nobody on this app.
You listen, somebody got excited. Somebody called.
It's like, oh shit, we got an entanglement. Sorry, my bad.
Roll, you're not in this story. Roll, knock it off. Okay, so there's you, there's Paul, Premature Paul, sorry, and Margaret. Okay, what is the time frame?
So this was when I was like 29, so about 6 years ago.
Okay, so we're talking 2016?
Yeah, 2016.
Okay. And do you remember around what time, like summertime, fall time, like?
I want to say it was it was like around springtime.
Spring, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was nice and I definitely remember it was after daylight savings time and it was still really nice out in California. So it would have been like spring, early summer.
So how does this start? I guess, where are you at this time in life?
Okay.
What's going on?
So I had just, like, my ex and I were kind of like on this like weird separation. Wasn't really feeling, the relationship. We were kind of struggling. I was a bartender. He was not very happy with it. So we kind of went our separate ways for a while.
So you were fresh off of a breakup.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really wanted, because he and I hadn't been together that long. So I was, trying to get out there, start dating, and just kind of, figure out what I wanted out of a relationship.
How long were you guys together?
My ex and I had only been together maybe like 3 or 4 months at that time.
Okay.
So it wasn't long. It was, really, we were still kind of like in a casual stage, I guess.
Okay, got you. Okay, but you guys split up, so you're like, all right, not dealing with each other.
So of course, like, you do the whole post that you're single, like where you do your status change on Facebook, and then it kind of like sends out that blast to everybody on your timeline.
Nothing's official.
Right? Unless it's
Facebook official. All right, so you Facebook official that you're single now.
Correct.
Okay, so you sent out to Facebook. Hold on one second. In the comments, how many of you, well, I don't know. I'm not on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook in a long time. But does that still reign true? Does a Facebook status really mean something still nowadays? Does it? In the comments real quick. Does it? No.
Yeah, I don't think it does that anymore.
Okay.
I think they learned that it was a bad idea to do that.
Okay. So you could send your Facebook blast out that you're now single, post some new pictures.
Yeah.
Ready.
So this guy, he and I had been friends on Facebook for probably like 2 years.
Okay.
So he messaged me. He was like, hey, we should go grab dinner sometime.
And is this Paul?
Yes, this is Paul.
2-year Facebook friend. Now, how did you become, like, you only knew each other on Facebook?
So he went to high school with my younger sister.
With your younger sister?
And I think he thought that I was her at first. And then I said, we kind of like talked, got to know each other a little bit. And I told him, I was like, oh, you graduated with my younger sister. And he's like,
you and your sister look similar?
Very.
Okay, got you. And
yeah.
Paul went to high school with your sister. So that's when he originally followed you 2 years ago.
Correct.
Okay.
2 years before this. Yeah. And I had never talked to him. Like, he didn't really post much. I knew he was like deeply religious.
Okay.
So I was kind of, we just really didn't have things in common that I thought of, So I was kind of confused when he messaged me thinking that we should, wanting to hang out.
And do you recall like how soon after your single blast? Was this like very soon after?
I would say it was probably like a couple weeks, at least like 3 or 4 weeks. I'd already gone on like another date with somebody else. So he wasn't like that first rebound date. It was like the second one.
Okay. So when he says, hey, would you like to go out for dinner, and you message him, was it like, this is weird? Or did you just say YOLO? Let's just sure.
I kind of like said, well, like started asking leading questions, trying to get to know him a little bit more, and, kind of like bypassed the ask until I kind of got to know him. And he seemed super sweet. He really was. So finally, he said, so how about dinner? And, a couple days later, after we had started doing the get to know each other messages.
Yeah.
And
for a few days. You said it was like a few days. So he asked and you kind of curve him a little bit. You try to fish him out. And then he asks again and you're like,
yeah, all right.
Okay, sure, why not? Okay. If y'all are just joining us, welcome to Entanglements with me. It's Itsjillybaby. Don't worry. We're just getting started with Ashley's entanglement. You're right on time-ish. Ashley has an entanglement with her premature Paul and Margaret. It's spring of 2016. Ashley is fresh off of a breakup. She's a bartender. That was like a thing for her ex, but they broke up. And Ash has now sent out the Facebook blast that she is single and ready to mingle.
Mm-hmm.
She gets a message from Paul. Paul is somebody who went to high school with Ashley's younger sister. So Ashley thinks he probably thought it was, when they first became friends, 2 years prior to this, that he thought it was her sister. But they've been Facebook friends for about 2 years. Not a lot of interaction. The only thing she really deduces from him or can tell is that he's very religious. So she was a little shocked that he would reach out after finding out she's single and asks her to dinner. She curves him for a bit because she's like, this is weird. Let me just kind of feel him out. She curves him, talks to him for a little bit, and then he asks again. And she says, you know what? Why not? And goes ahead and says, sure, we can meet for dinner. All right. So you finally tell him yes. And then what?
So he picks a really nice restaurant here in Long Beach. It's like right on the bay. Mm-hmm. Dinner was like when it was like sunset. So it was like really, it's outdoor setting. So it's really beautiful out on the water. Mm-hmm. It's like a nicer restaurant. So I'm pretty impressed at this point. I'm like, okay, like he's got good taste. He likes good food, obviously.
Ooh, real quick, are you attracted to him? Like,
he's cute. He wasn't 100% my type. Okay. But I mean, my type obviously hadn't really been working out the greatest for me. So I was kind of trying to step out of that a little bit.
Okay.
And I usually don't date younger guys.
In the comments, we all have a type. Have you stepped outside of your type to try something different? And has that worked out for you? Has it worked out? Oh, no. But yes, and I regretted it. Okay. Mixed bag here. But a lot of nope didn't work out. Okay. Well, he picked a nice restaurant. If you could describe him for us, what is, just describe him just so we have a
So he was a little bit shorter than I normally date. I would say he was probably like 5'7", 5'8".
Okay.
He had dark hair, green eyes.
Green eyes.
So he was, he was like an attractive guy. He was just like a little short. And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm short. So I need somebody that's tall. You got to reach the top shelf for me, and
we both can't.
That. So I've usually dated very tall men. Like usually they're at minimum like 6 foot.
Okay, we both can't be struggling to reach the
exactly. Only one of us can struggle in the height department.
Got it. Okay, but you still went with it. Okay, so dark hair, green eyes, just short for you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So he picks this nice restaurant. You see him in real time in that first meeting. Still feeling good about it?
The conversation was really good.
Okay.
It was a really easy conversation. He did kind of mention how he was religious, but he was kind of like coming out of that a little bit and, kind of starting to like waver a little bit on, being as religious as he was.
And what was he like
Jewish?
He was Jewish. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So, his family was Orthodox, and he was kind of like becoming like a little bit more relaxed and was wanting to
he comes from a strict Jewish family, Orthodox.
Very strict.
Okay.
So I said, could you even date a girl that is not Jewish? You know? He said, well, that's what I'm trying to explore, and I've been kind of like wavering in my faith, and he has this whole reasoning as to like what's going on in his head about why he's not as religious as he used to be.
Okay.
So he was kind of like setting up the play, for down the road as to what ended up happening.
Well, Okay, what were some of his reasons? Like, what were the reasons he was giving you?
He basically just kind of felt like things were very mundane. It was, pointless. There were things going on in his church he wasn't happy with. He'd seen a lot of marriages falter, and he just had a lot of questions about, religion.
Okay.
And I think he was just kind of like getting over, the repetitiveness of his life, and it was kind of, trying to maybe excite his life up a little bit.
Okay. All right. So you're the excitement. Insert Ashley Ann. Okay. So he's telling you all of this at dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so how does the date progress? Where
how
does it end? I guess, how's the date end?
We ended up having a really good dinner. We went for a walk along the bay because like here in Alamitos Bay, there's like several restaurants. There's a little walkway. You can see the entire harbor, and you can see all the lights and stuff. So it's really beautiful.
Okay.
So we go for a walk. We're like, everything's going great. And I had taken an Uber there.
Okay.
Because I didn't know if I was going to drink. So I did take an Uber there. And he'd had like a few beers at dinner. I had a couple, margaritas. So I was feeling pretty good. And he's like, let me drive you home. That way you don't have to take an Uber. So I was like, okay. Like, he seems normal enough.
Gentlemanly.
I don't feel like he's, going to like take me home and chop me up into pieces at this point. Okay. I pin dropped my location to a girlfriend.
Smart. They're all good steps.
Yeah. So I was smart about it, and so we're in the car, and he goes to kiss me, like when he was dropping me off.
He leaned in for the kiss.
What's that?
He leans in for the kiss.
He leaned right in as I was about, like, as I looked at him, and I was like, okay, thanks for dinner. It was beautiful, like.
Now pause. Did you want to kiss him? Were you getting I want to kiss you goodnight vibes?
No, I really didn't. I wasn't like really 100% like at that point, like I didn't have those. I didn't feel that like spark. You know how like when you like first see someone and you just like, can't keep your hands off of them because you're so insanely attracted to them and their personality. I wasn't at that point, but it could have been because I was nervous, and kind of like what I was going through.
Right.
So I went with it, and then something happened.
Before that, was there any petting? Were there any hand holding while y'all were doing? No flirty, no touching, no nothing happening. So Paul was just gonna go out on faith.
Yep. He went in on it.
All right. Here we go.
So he makes this like weird sound, and
what do you mean he makes a weird sound?
Like, okay, so that like little like moan that people let out like right before they get off, like that little like
when he kissed you,
yes. Oh, and I was like, no way. This did not happen. And I
wait a minute. Wait. So let me picture this. He leans in and he kisses you, and is it something like?
So like it was right after he stuck his tongue in my mouth, mind you. So like
he kisses you and then he goes like this.
Kind of. And like I felt like his body jolt. It was
okay, wait. He kisses you and
I felt like the jolt, like when they're trying to hold something back. And I was completely mortified for him. So obviously I didn't ask, I didn't say anything. Like I tried to look, but it was dark. So I tried to like look to see if I could see anything down there. And but it was too dark. So I couldn't. So I tried to I called my girlfriends immediately. Like we get on a group phone call. I'm like, yo, like I'm pretty sure this just happened, but I don't know. And my friend was like, no fucking way, sorry. That doesn't happen anymore. Like, he's 27 years old. Like that didn't happen, And I said, I know it's crazy, but
you think premature Paul had a
I honestly, after everything else that happened, I absolutely believe.
Okay.
100%. Like I did not want to believe it. The person kept saying, no, that did not happen. That can't. Okay. Like that's impossible. No way.
All right. All right. So you kissed him. He kissed you. Did you kiss him back, or did you just kind of let it happen?
I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. So like there was like maybe like 3 or 4 seconds of a little make out session, and then that happened, and you know, I kind of pulled back really quickly and I was like, all right, have a good night. And I just bolted out of the car. Like,
all right, in the
straight
comments,
for the front door.
real quick, in the comments, if you kiss somebody on a first date, ladies, you kiss somebody on a first date and they let out the, what you doing? What's your reaction? You guys, I'm asking why. You're gonna ask if he's okay. That's very caring of you. Are you okay? Okay. I enjoy it. We have it. Okay. All right. So you have this awkward moment. You get up, you leave, you call your girlfriends, you have a kiki about it. You're like, no way. So
right.
So what now? Like you.
So he messages me the next day. Like we kept conversating. He's like, "Yo, I had a great time with you. You know, you're such."
I bet he did. He had a happy ending.
Yeah, he had a real good time.
All right.
I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna give this guy a couple chances, like, you know, like, cause he's super sweet, and I'm trying to step outside of my normal comfort zone, and he was very gentlemanly. He pulled out my chair.
Okay.
He offered me a jacket when we were outside, you know, like the little chivalrous things, you know. So I'm thinking like, all right, Ashley, you need to stop dating these bad boys. You need to date a nice guy, you know?
Okay. I will. That's what happened in his pants. Never mind. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's very inappropriate.
I know that gift.
This is a featured show. I apologize. I'm sorry. Y'all, this is Entanglements. I can't help myself sometimes. Entanglements every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with me. Itsjillybaby. We are getting Miss Ashley Ann's Entanglement. If you just walked in, Paul has just had the best kiss of his life, apparently. Ashley doesn't hold it against him, so you're messaging. You decide to give him some chances. And because he was very chivalrous, you're just trying to, you know, maybe that really wasn't what happened. So do you guys continue to date?
Yes. So we went on a few more dates, like more like casual things. Like we went to like golf and stuff one night and go-kart racing.
Okay.
We went to dinner again. So we're at like date 4 or 5 at this point, you know, and I'm like, all right, like if this is going to progress, like the sex has got to be good, you know? Because I'm not going to waste my time. Like we did like the 5 date thing. I can't, you know, continue this further if, you know,
sex isn't good. Okay, so 5 dates in, you guys are just casually dating. We're not relationship. Now, at this point, we're saying if the sex is good, then you'd be open to having a serious relationship because it's not serious here? Is that where we're at? Okay. In the comments, do y'all have a rule like this? Do y'all have to find the sex out after so many dates? Like, what is everybody's take on that? Okay, how many dates? How long do you, like, before it becomes, how many dates? 3 to 5. I'm smashing. Find out ASAP. Notice. Okay, 10 dates, 6 dates. At least 3 dates. Depending on how fine he is. More than 8 dates. Bart just wants 1 date. Okay, all right. Not before the first date. All right. Now we're just trolling here. Okay, half a date. Oh my God. All right. Okay, so you are 4 dates in, 4 or 5 dates in, and now there's been more kissing? No.
I was scared.
No. So after the one,
so like there was like quick ones, but like not like an intimate kiss, like no tongue, like little like kiss on the cheek goodnight, like. And then I would just like hop out of the car real quick because like I felt so uncomfortable. I was kind of traumatized from that first situation.
Did he try to kiss you? Did he try to do it and you curved him?
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't even try. He probably was a little.
I think he was a little insecure.
Okay, all right, okay. Sure. So you guys, so this is 3-4 weeks. This is a month and a half of dating at this point.
Yeah, we're about 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks in at this point.
Just light pecks. Okay, so you decide. Tonight's the night. This date is the night. Are you guys talking about sex? Have you
so I had invited him over, obviously, you know, for like some Netflix and chill, basically. Like I invited him to come over, watch a movie, and so like, you know, everything's getting a little hot and heavy, and
okay, hold on. So you invite him over to Netflix and chill.
It's gonna be hard to say this without laughing right now.
Oh, hold on. You invite him over to Netflix and chill.
Yeah,
he knows. I'm sure he knows what this means, or maybe he doesn't. Right. But we're not having any direct conversations. We're just circling the wagon here, sprinkling hints. Okay, you come over. So he comes over. You guys are sitting on the couch.
We're in. So we're on the couch.
Okay.
And then so like we start kissing. You know.
Okay.
And then starts getting hot and heavy, and then clothes come off.
Now hold on. You're kissing. Now while you're doing the kissing, he's good.
Nothing happened yet.
He's good. Like he doesn't have the same episode. Yeah. Paul's holding
so
strong.
I was like, okay, like we're good, like I was crazy is like what I'm thinking at this point, you know?
Okay.
I was wrong. So wrong.
Okay. So you kiss, the clothes come off?
Yeah. So there's no foreplay, like no lead up really. Like he just like went straight.
Just puts it in.
And instantly. Like we're talking like not even like a full power move. Like, and he was done.
Not even a pump.
Not even a full pump.
Same sound from the car.
Ugh. Yeah. Same exact sound. And I'm like laying there like, did this just happen? Like,
wait, what did Paul say anything? Was he
he kind of gave me this like uncomfortable like look on his face, like you could tell he was nervous.
Okay.
And I just didn't say anything. I didn't want to make him feel even more uncomfortable. Like I'm sitting there like, okay, like maybe there's gonna be a round two, like maybe that he was just nervous. And I'm trying to like give this guy as many benefits of the doubt as I possibly can at this point.
Visually, are y'all just laying there? He's just laying on top of you at this point.
He's just like laying next, like he got off of me and then was like kind of like laying on the couch next to me, and I kind of like holding me. I'm like, I was uncomfortable as hell. I'm not gonna lie, because like I didn't want, like obviously I'm thinking like, is that it?
Okay, all right. So how do we wrap this awkward?
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, okay, like maybe there's gonna be round two, and then he just like he puts his clothes on. He's like, yeah, this is a really good movie. We finished the movie, and then he like leaves.
Wait,
and I'm like,
wait, he just puts his clothes on and says, this is a good movie?
Yeah.
Finish the movie.
Yes. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, so like, no, like round two, like I'm not getting anything out of this. Like at this point, I'm like, I don't even want to finish the movie. I just want to go finish myself off, like, because this is pointless at this, point.
Okay. Do you try to start anything up again with him?
No, because I was so uncomfortable by what had happened, and I didn't want to say something, and I was scared.
Okay.
That like I would say something, you know.
Okay. Real quick,
so I was like, it's probably best that we just watch this movie and not talk. Okay. Because I'm gonna say something wrong at this point.
Fair. In the comments, has anybody had an incident like this where you've had sex and it was just yes? Oh no. Did you have the same awkward moment that Ashley is describing? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. If y'all are just coming in, this is Entanglements with me, Itsjillybaby. We do this every Tuesday, 8 o'clock. We are just getting through Ashley's entanglement with Paul. All right. So you've just Netflixed and chilled.
Yeah.
You've just had I'm sure the quickest sex you've ever had, or
like I've never had anything like that.
Wasn't even a pump.
Not Paul. We're gonna call him No Pump Paul.
Okay. Paul has put his clothes on. They're sitting there and says, hey, this is a really good Netflix movie. We should finish it. Yep. And they finish the movie after this awkward whatever that was. And then he just leaves?
Yeah. So he left. We kind of texted a little bit. We planned a date for Friday. I messaged group chats flaming at this point,
But you still go on a date with him. You still are.
So my girlfriends convinced me to. They're like, yo, he was probably nervous. Like, girl, like that just means you're that good. I'm like, I'm sorry. There is nothing that good. Like, no, like I could have the best ever, but like, that is a no, ma'am, and they're like, he was probably nervous, you were probably intimidating, and you know how you are, Ashley. And, I'm thinking, oh do I give this guy one more chance? Like, this sex, like, what if this is like our sex life? And then I wasted all this time. Like, I'm telling them, like, no, I can't do it. And my girlfriends are like, just do it. Just do it. Like, he was probably nervous. You can't hold it against him for one time, you know?
He can't.
So
one time.
I'm like, all right. So I agreed to go out to dinner. Mind you, that was like on a Tuesday night. I agreed the next day on a Wednesday. I agreed to go out with him Friday night. So we're texting on Thursday.
Okay.
And I get this like long message from him telling me that he's seeing somebody else.
Oh.
That, you know, that thank you for my time, but he's been seeing somebody else and things are progressing more with her. And he just has a better connection with her. I'm like, what? I mean, at this point, I'm like, first off, thank God. But second of all, I'm like, you're out here giving this like trash D to people.
Wait,
like embarrassing me like this. Like, I'm like, is this really happening?
Your girlfriends convince you to give him another chance, and
then he dumps me.
And then he dumps you.
Like, what? So I couldn't even believe this at this point. I'm like, this is not happening. Like, what? How? Like, this can't be happening.
Okay.
So I kind of like give him a piece of my mind. I was like, you know what? Like, that was the worst sex I've ever had in my entire life. Like, I can't even believe that I wasted a notch on my bedpost for something as minuscule as that, you know? And I blamed him for it at this point.
Okay.
Like, I was hot, you know? I mean, here it's one thing, like if we're casually dating, but like if I'm sleeping with you at this point, like you can't be like, I'm thinking he's out here sleeping with other people.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Okay. All right. So you give him a piece of your mind?
Yes. Gave him a full-on piece of my mind. So, and then I blocked his number.
Okay.
So a couple weeks go by and inserts Margaret.
Okay, who is Margaret?
So Margaret is his fiance.
Okay, a couple weeks go by, Margaret rolls up on you. Like,
she messages me on Facebook and says, "Hey, can I call you?" And I don't know who this woman is. I'm like, do I know you? And she says, you know, we have we dated somebody mutually, you know, just girl code, woman to woman. I was wondering if I could have a conversation with you. And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, she pulled the girl code card. Like, sure. You know, so she calls me on Facebook Messenger. And she proceeds to tell me who her fiance is.
Hold on. Who's the fiance? It's only one person, y'all.
Yeah.
Type his name.
Paul.
It's Paul. It's Paul.
It was Paul.
Okay.
And she says, you know, what was the extent of your relationship? You know, did you
hold on real quick, pause before you get to that. In the comments, how many of you have received a call or a message like that from you talking to somebody? How many of you have received a call or a message like that because you were messing with somebody that you didn't know? Ooh, all right. How many of you actually took the call? Because Ashley said she got a message and she asked if she could call. Some of you might have said no. You always take the call? I did. Okay. All right. So you get on the phone. I'm assuming it sounds like you were very respectful.
Sorry, I had to turn that on so I could see the gift. I had to look at the gift.
Yes! Girl, I gotta go DC live. Hold on.
I was like, sorry, I gotta see the comments. I gotta see this.
Hold on. We gotta turn up for DC's gift. Hold on. Only way to turn up. Hold on. I got it right here. Hold on. I know we on the show, but that was dope. Y'all said yes, Lord, in the comments. Yes, Lord, 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 yes. Let's go. Yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes. Let's go. Y'all. the shoes, it's the chain. I got it recorded too. I made sure to record it on the side. All right. Sorry, Ashley. Sorry.
All right.
Okay.
So she and I have this phone call. She tells me that they're engaged to be married, and that not only that they're engaged to be married, but she wants to know the extent of our relationship because, you know, and I said, well, we went on a couple dates. Like, I'm not going to tell her, you know, that I'd slept with him. But then she drops a bomb on me that they had been saving themselves for marriage.
You took his... Finish. They've been saving themselves for marriage.
Saving themselves for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And she just wanted to make sure that before they say their vows and they get married, that he'd been faithful to her, because apparently they were both kind of struggling. They'd been together, I guess, for like a long time. They were struggling with whether, you know, they wanted to get married. So they were allowed to go out and go on some dates with other people, you know, but they weren't allowed to sleep with anybody or anything. Like, they had this like whole prearranged
Okay. So they
situation.
they were giving it.
Yep. So I hang up immediately at this point. I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm like a pawn in their little weird game, you know, like, so I hang up immediately.
Wait, do you tell her?
Mr. Paul.
Do you tell her?
No, I just hung up. Like, at that point, like, it was mad awkward. I hung up, hit the block button, block, report, delete.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So, but I unblock him. I call him. I'm like, yo, you need to call your fiance. This is really weird for me. I do not want to be in the middle of this. It's a very uncomfortable situation. Not only did I have to find out that you were engaged, but I just find out that you're a virgin as well. Like, and you just put me in the most uncomfortable position I think I've ever been in. And oh my God, I will never forget that for the rest of my life. So I messaged, you know, get back into group chat with the girls, you know, I'm like, you will never guess what just happened.
So when you say this to Paul, does he have a response? Do you ever tell Margaret, or do
he kept pressuring me, like, what did you tell her? What did you tell her? And I was like, I didn't tell her anything, but you clearly need to tell her something. Right. And I mean, obviously she knows something. And here, you know, like, I'm sitting here wondering, like, why you came so quickly this whole time. And the whole time it's because you've never even had sex with anybody in your entire freaking life. Like, why would you put me in that position? He's like, you know, I was tempted, and then I realized that, you know, like, this was the devil tempting me. I'm like, oh, geez.
Devil named Ashley.
So now I'm feeling like the worst person in the world, you know, like, not only did I take this kid's virginity, but like, I ruined his marriage before it even started, because she clearly knew something had happened, you know.
Now, did you ever, anything else? Was that it after that conversation? No more? Do you know it? Did they end up getting married? Do you know anything? I mean, I don't know.
I heard that they did get married.
Okay.
They did get married, but they are now divorced.
Ah, all right.
And I have a feeling that it has everything to do with premature Paul.
Well,
because who wants to be stuck with that for the rest of their life?
Ladies in the comments, have you taken a guy's virginity? No. Yes. And not no. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. All right. Ooh. Let's get this. Oh, Paul. Now, Ashley hung up and didn't say anything. Ladies in the comments, would you have just said it? Would you have said that you had sex, or would you hung up just like she did? I spill all the tea. Yeager says, if I get a phone call, I'm telling everything. You would have told her, hung up, got out of the uncomfortable situation.
I was so uncomfortable. I just didn't know what to, like, I didn't know what to say. Like, how am I going to break it to this girl that, like, I took her man's virginity that they were saving for each other? Like, I didn't have the stomach to say it. But I did tell him, I was like, yo, you need to tell her, you know, like,
okay.
And oh man, it was just so uncomfortable, but it made sense, you know, like, all of the things, like, in those little red flags.
It all started.
It all, like, literally, like, it hit me and, like, came over me like this, like, wave of, like, so that's what happened.
Right.
Like it was like my come to Jesus moment, you know,
All right,
like
y'all.
what had happened.
Let's get through this recap of the story. Y'all hit the box if you want to ask a question when we're done with this recap. Please make sure you hit Ashley with a fave. You hit me with a fave. Somebody fave role model, please. She's been asking for a fave the whole show. Just fave her already. Unfavor and favor again if you have to. And travel. But y'all, if y'all ready for this recap, let me see. Wait, what can we put? Y'all put a one. What would be a good, like, what's a one pump? What's quick? What is, y'all put the smoke.
Are we really going to give him a one pump and not like a half pump on this one?
Poof. Put the smoke poof. That's quick. That's a quick, right? Yeah, right there. Just, there we go. All right, there it is. Just one pump. One. All right, y'all. So we have Ashley. We've got Ashley. We've got premature Paul, one pump Paul, whatever you all want to put, whatever descriptor before Paul, and we have Margaret. So this is back in spring of 2016. Ashley's just broken up with her ex at this point. She was bartending. He really didn't like that, but they'd broken up. So, you know, she's ready to mingle. So she's on Facebook, put some new pictures up, send the Facebook blast out saying single, status change, single. So, of course, she's getting some responses, and she gets a message from Paul. Now, she and Paul have been Facebook friends for about 2 years. And 2 years ago, when he sent the request, she figured out that Paul had gone to high school with her sister, her younger sister. But they hadn't had a lot of interaction over those 2 years. So it was a little bit of a shock to her, like him messaging her. He messages her and, you know, asks to go out for dinner. She kind of curves him in the beginning, you know, and she says that he's not really her typical type. He was a little shorter, you know, she said he was about 5'7". She said we both can't be short struggling. We both can't be not being able to reach the second shelf. So somebody has to, but she was going to step outside her comfort zone. She'd been dating the same type. Clearly that wasn't working. Let me try something different. So she curves him the first time, just engages in conversation, tries to feel him out. He asks again, and she says, sure, why not? So they agree to go to dinner. He picks a beautiful restaurant, she says, right there by the water, nice place. He showed up looking nice, dark hair, green eyes. They said it had been great conversation. Dinner was great. She comes to find out, you know, that he's very religious. He comes from an Orthodox Jewish background and family. So if you're familiar with that, it's very strict religion. But he was having kind of like a crisis of religion and was wanting to kind of step out of that. There were things happening in the church and with people that he knew that he didn't like. So he was just having some existential crisis about this. So he's trying to step out or see. So as they have this conversation, dinner goes well. They go take this romantic walk down by the pier, by the water. She says everything is great. Nothing, you know, he's being very chivalrous, very gentlemanly. She had taken an Uber there. As the night comes to an end, he says, let me drive you home. She felt comfortable at this time. She didn't think he was the killer, that he was going to chop her up or anything. So she felt safe going, you know, in his car to drop her home. So he drives her home, gets to the house. As she's getting ready to, you know, she says goodbye. Paul leans in for the kiss. He leans in for the kiss with tongue, kiss action. And then all Ashley hears is, ugh. I don't know if y'all caught that. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Leans in for the kiss, puts his tongue in her mouth, they have a little kiss, and all Ashley hears is, Now, she says it's dark, she can't see anything, but she recognizes the sound. She feels that Paul may have finished something while engaging in this kiss. She's not sure, but she just leaves. She doesn't ask, she doesn't put further embarrassment, but she heads right to the group chat, y'all. Heads to the group chat, explains the situation. The girls are just flaming the situation, but, you know, they just say, you know, that doesn't happen. You're probably thinking it doesn't happen anymore. That happens in the movies. That can't be that. Paul messages the next day, says he had a great time. You know, he'd like to, you know, go out again sometime. Ashley says, all right, remember, I'm trying to try something new. So let me just give him a chance, right? That was one incident, you know, maybe whatever, give him a chance. So they continue to date. They're like a month in, they're going on dates. They've gone on like 4 or 5 dates at this point. All, you know, fun dates, going bowling, doing all kind of fun things. No kissing or anything, light kisses. No more tongue action kiss. It'll be kiss on the cheek, just pecks goodbye. but just very dry in terms of the touchy-feely side of the dating. So they're 4 or 5 dates in, and Ashley says, you know, at this point for her, I need to know if the sex is good. I mean, we're starting to get a little serious at this point, so you know, let's see what you're working with. So she invites him over to Netflix and chill. All right, Netflix and chill. She's like, all right, he's gonna come over to the house. We're just gonna have to set the mood, but you know what it is. Comes over, sitting on the couch, watching a movie, start to kiss. They start to really kiss, no sounds. So Ashley's like, okay, maybe that was a one-time thing, only a one-time thing. All right, this is looking good. A little heavy petting. The clothes start to come off. She says no foreplay, no extra. Paul just goes for it. And as soon as he goes for it, quickly it ends. Usually a pump is like an in and an out. Oh. Paul just went in.
That's all he got.
And was done. Paul, I believe, just kind of collapses at this point. Yeah. Ashley is laying there with the y'all find the emoji face with the big eyes. You know how the emoji's like shock face? If y'all got the eyes, yeah, like that. She's laying there kind of like that.
It definitely does.
He kind of rolls over, you know, Ashley's like, oh, maybe there's gonna be around 2. He kind of rolls over, a little awkward silence, little crickets. Paul then proceeds to put his clothes on and says, let's finish the movie. They sit up, finish the movie. As soon as he leaves, hit the group chat again. The group chat, for whatever reason, I don't know if your group chat has improved since then.
I feel like they were messing with me.
The group chat tells her she should give him another chance. Group chat says he was nervous. Group chat says you're intimidating. Group chat said, girl, maybe you just got that good. Maybe it's just that good. And Ashley is like, ain't no good that good to be half a pump. But she trusts the girls. She says he messages. She agrees. This is a Tuesday. He messages. She agrees to go on a date with him Friday night. All right. They message. She's like, fine. One more chance. Ashley is the mother of chances at this point. You got the mother of dragons. Ashley is the mother of chances.
Way too nice.
Friday, they're supposed to go on a date. Thursday night, y'all, Ashley gets a message. She gets a message from Paul saying, you know what? I've been seeing somebody else. Things are progressing a lot better with them. I'm more interested in them. Be blessed. I don't want to continue to see you. And breaks up with Ashley the day before they're supposed to go on their date. Breaks up with Ashley. So now she, of course, is annoyed, and she decides to give him a piece of her mind and then fine, leave it alone. Walks away from that. Couple of weeks go by. Facebook message from Margaret. Margaret messages Ashley and says, hey, can I call you? She's like, who's this? She says, we have somebody in common, girl code. I'd like to talk to you about them. Okay, she said, girl code. Ashley says, fine. Margaret hits her with the Facebook call, gets on the phone and says, I'd just like to know the extent of your relationship with Paul. And she goes, Paul, you know, we've gone on a few dates because Paul and I are engaged. We've been together for several years. We did talk to each other about possibly dating, you know, to just kind of see that we want to get married, but we have been saving ourselves for marriage. We're virgins. Ashley is now mortified because she is now realizing what happened. She's realizing what has happened, and she hangs up. She messages Paul immediately, gives Paul a piece of her mind, tells him he needs to tell her what happened, but that she didn't tell her. And I believe Paul and Margaret did eventually go on to get married, but now they're divorced. Yeah. All right. Got it. All right.
So that is the story of premature Paul.
Or half a pump Paul. Timbo, do you have a question? Does anybody have any questions for Ashley? Timbo can't load like Paul. No.
Right?
Paul, you're right.
I feel like he lasted longer, you know.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Ashley or anything you'd like to say or address? Well, you want to hop in the box or ask questions in the comments?
No, it was the trash pump. Like, not gonna lie. Like,
Trash
it was.
pump. Okay.
We're talking.
Kev said, "Would you give him another shot?" Now, this is 6 years ago.
Yes.
Paul may have learned a few things.
I will never date a younger guy again after that. To be honest, like that was my first younger guy. I usually date older men just because older men are more experienced. Like I'm not your teacher, you know. Like I'm not trying to have to teach a man how he needs to take care of a woman. You know, I need a man that knows how to take care of his woman.
Fair.
And so after that, like no more younger guys. Yeah, we ain't teaching anybody.
Right.
Not gonna happen. So I won't date any younger guys. I prefer one that's got kids, so then I know he's had, you know, I know he's not a virgin at that point. You know, I'm not trying to have any kids. Like, I mean,
fair enough.
So I look for certain flags now, you know, whereas like before, like I used to try to avoid red flags. Now we're avoiding premature flags.
Got it. Premature flags. Okay. Any other questions in the comments? There's older men that still need teaching. Dang, rough. Okay. All right, Ashley. Well, thank you for sharing your story. Are you back streaming? I know you kind of been.
I am back streaming. This was actually like my first time being featured on a show in the last 6 months.
Okay.
The girl's been focusing on herself and her weight loss goals. I'm down 83 pounds. So
83 pounds. Let's go. Okay.
That's my big workout, and you know I work out at least once a day now, 7 days a week. So it's just kind of taken up my life a little bit, but I am trying to make time for streaming. I'm going to be streaming 2 nights a week.
Okay.
So if you do not have me favorited on Instagram, I do post on my story when I'm going to go live and stream. So expect to see me back.
Okay, y'all make sure y'all hit her with a fave, please. Please hit Ashley with a fave. Follow her on Instagram so you can see when she streams. Also, Ashley is a huge football fan.
Yes. Die-hard football fan.
Die-hard. Can you guess what her team is? I mean, it's right there. But if you like sports, who that?
Who that said they gonna beat them Saints?
If you like to talk sports, you know, you got Wednesday Sports Talk with Dell. Ashley's been on the show, but again, Ashley is a diehard football fan. So when football season comes around, you know she's all about it. So guys, please tap in, follow her, give her some love. Thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you giving me at least calling me earlier in the day too to ask if I could do this too. Like I was like, okay, now I got to get ready on my lunch break. I got to do this. I knew to be ready. So I appreciate you.
You're welcome. No, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you guys. Guys, make sure you hit her with the fave. Ashley, thank you so much. All right, y'all. 1 pump, half a pump paw, premature paw. What an entanglement, right? What an entanglement. Yes. Oh, you went to address your. Y'all done got her in the box.
Yes, hi. I'm here for the clout. If you guys could please faith me, I'm a full-time streamer.